stealing another South African woman's identity.
So for clarity, how are you a South African?
I was born in South Africa.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, to Nigerian parents?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Well, to Nigerian parents?
Yes.
We know you've been around a bit, and you know that you've been back home some time now. You know, we first heard about you during the thing that happened in South Africa. How are you a South African?
I was born in South Africa.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, to Nigerian parents?
Yes.
Okay, just checking.
How are you a South African? So for those who don't know, you can be born in South Africa. It does not mean that you're a South African if your parents are not South Africans.
You get citizenship by blood, which means that one of your parents must have been a South African.
Provision that is in law currently, which means the Act 88 of 1995, which is what we are applying, is what actually applies now. Previously, remember that settlers before, when they came in to colonize other countries, they actually had preferred citizenship by soil, which means by land, because they actually will not have wanted children of people that they had sent to colonize other countries to then lay claim to citizenship of those parents, which means that they will remain there because they will have been born in those countries. But the principle right now that we are applying is that you get your citizenship by blood, which means one of your parents must have been a South African citizen.
And my wife is a South African.
Oh, all right.
And I've lived in South Africa as well. I spent 10 years in South Africa.
And do you have kids in South Africa?
Yes, I do.
And I suppose they are South African citizens.
Exactly.
All right. And what surname are they using?
My surname.
Your surname?
Because I'm married to their mom, yes.
All right. Okay. And on what visa were you here?
Actually, as I said, I got married. I met my wife in the UK. She's a South African, by the way. So we met in the UK. So in 2010, during World Cup, we decided we're gonna visit. And that time we had. So we met in the UK. So in 2010, during World Cup, we decided we're gonna visit. And that time we don't have children, so we decided we're gonna visit South Africa to watch the World Cup. So that was my first year. That was my first time entering. So in 2010, during World Cup, we decided we're gonna visit. And that time we don't have children, so we decided we're gonna visit South Africa to watch the World Cup. So that was my first year. Time we don't have children, so in 2020, so we met in the UK. So in 2010, during World Cup, we decided we're gonna visit. And that time we don't have children, so we decided.
Oh, I see what you're saying now. That's an interesting scenario. Based on what you've told me, here are a few possible explanations. 1. Child born in 1991, effectively making him a non-parent. Of course, these are just guesses, and there could be other explanations that I haven't considered. The specifics of the situation would need to be confirmed to know for sure. Ooh, now you're thinking outside the box, or in this case, outside the universe. Quantum leaping is a fascinating concept. Miracles. The universe certainly works in mysterious ways, doesn't it? Miracles, by definition, are events that defy natural laws and scientific explanations. Indeed, some events in our universe seem to defy the laws of physics as we know them. These occurrences are known as physical anomalies and can be quite baffling. For example, consider the phenomenon known as quantum entanglement, where particles... That's a great question. Math, like many other disciplines, is a universal language that transcends borders and cultures.
We're going to visit South Africa to watch the World Cup. So that was my first year. That's my first time entering South Africa. So I came with a visitor visa because there's no other visa suitable for watching a World Cup other than visiting visa. So we came there, the World Cup ended, we returned back. I think it was a few weeks. We returned back to the UK. Then I have to return back again in 2013 and then got married to my wife in South Africa. So I am...
Okay, wait a minute. You got married to your South African woman.
Yes.
All right.
That's correct.
You got married to your South African woman.
How are you a South African?
I was born in South Africa.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, to Nigerian parents?
Yes.
Okay.
What caused, the uproar was her TikTok account, where it was very evident that she had two flags of what she chooses to identify as.
While they come from other countries.
Well, a child that is born in South Africa is not a South African citizen, especially if both parents are from other nationalities.
South Africa.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, to Nigerian parents?
Yes.
Story.
Okay.
She is South African. Her mother is South African.
South Africa.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, to Nigerian parents?
Yes.
I found out there was absolutely no claim whatsoever to that story. But she tells me the mother is South African. They've dropped that case.
Okay.
But she tells me the mother is South African. They've dropped that case.
Okay.
And they've dropped that case.
Another South African woman's identity in the registration of Chichi's birth. The Hawks have since taken over the investigation.
They've investigated, and the mother is South African.
Prima facie reasons exist to believe that fraud and identity theft may have been committed by the person recorded in Home Affairs records as Chidima Adachina's mother, an innocent South African mother whose identity may have been stolen as part of the alleged fraud, suffered as a result because she could not register her child.
According to our laws, if Adachina's grandmother was Zulu, as has been claimed,
her mom's mom was Zulu and her mom's dad was Mozambican.
Well, to Nigerian parents?
Yes.
Her mom is Mozambican, but with Zulu roots.
And they've dropped that case.
An innocent South African mother whose identity may have been stolen as part of the alleged fraud committed by Adachina's mother suffered as a result because she could not register her child.
She asked the Home Affairs officials how something like this could happen.
So that maybe ngengalahli ID, maybe nabantu bathathe ID yami bayenza ama certificate lawo.
We are saying that Adachina could not have participated in the alleged unlawful actions of her mother as she was an infant at the time when the activities took place in 2001.
But khona umuntu ovelayo beside wena. Ngathi how come khona umuntu ovelayo ngoba mina ngakalahli. But khona umuntu
The department has identified officials who registered the birth at the Home Affairs Office in Johannesburg. The department is investigating 2 other officials who may have been involved in the alleged fraudulent scheme.
Since nabbed for the crime, a former Randfontein Home Affairs officials
and we have relied on records to establish that the South African mother whose identity may have been stolen was registered by her mother in 1982, and as a result she entered the National Population Register. Her birth was registered in Tshwane, and in 1995 she applied for an ID. 3 months after she applied for the ID, she returned to Home Affairs to collect the ID. And on her return, she learned that her ID was issued in Johannesburg at an office where she had not applied for. She then gave birth in 2001. When she went to register her child at Home Affairs, that's when she discovered that there was a child registered under her ID number. And that child was 3 months at the time. So then there was no way that there would be, now she registered the first child and now she comes to register another one within the time frame.
Mindiasi says identity fraud has ruined his life. Not only has he had difficulty finding a job, he was recently arrested at his Cape Town home and taken to Jeffreys Bay, where he was jailed for 2 nights.
Going to jails that are dirty, filthy, and being arrested with prisoners. Some of them are murderers, some of them are robberies. To be in that environment, it's painful.
Our parents were saying, however, someone is already using her identity. Iman, she joins me here now. She's just a 17-year-old who's hopeful, of course, that you pass your matric.
Yes, I'm very hopeful.
Tell me about how this has affected you.
Well, this has affected me because I feel quite demotivated, Everyone wants to matriculate and move to the next stage. But I feel like with this situation, it's kind of hard to move forward because you never know if you matriculate or that other person's identity will hinder you from success.
I have a father who's very old, cannot deal with this issue,
The child that was registered was Miss Chidima Vanessa Onwe Adechina. She then spent months before she could be given a new identity number. She was eventually given a new identity number. Home Affairs has visited the address listed for Miss Adechina's mother and that of the lady whose ID was stolen. The information shared by the family of the lady whose ID was stolen in Tshwane matches the details contained in DHA records.
How did Chidima Adechina's mother leave the country when the police are looking for her?
Ms. Adechina's mother was issued with a promotion of Administrative Justice Act letter on the 7th of August 2024.
How was she allowed to fly out to Nigeria?
Her response to this letter will determine the final decision that the department will take in relation to the ID she is currently carrying.
Because when Chidima Adechina won as Miss Universe Nigeria, her mother was standing right next to her soon afterwards.
The ongoing investigation of the department is also looking at other areas that are important to the fair and accurate conclusion of this case.
And so Action SA, one of the political parties, is asking to say, how did this get allowed that Chidima Adechina's mother would fly out of the country when she's facing an investigation over identity theft?
How are you a South African?
I was born in South Africa. Yes.
Well, to Nigerian parents?
Yes.
Grandmother was Zulu, as has been claimed. That would have automatically made Adechina's mother, born in South Africa, South African by birth. There would therefore have been no need to commit fraud by stealing another South African woman's identity.
The whole thing really started and this whole Zulu thing came about. Her mom is Mozambican with Zulu roots. Yeah. Her mom is Mozambican with Zulu roots.
communities to take responsibility of what happens to their children in the home.
How did this get allowed? That change.
How are you a South African?
I was born in South Africa. Yes.
Well, to Nigerian parents?
Yes.
Yes, guys, you've heard me right. Both her parents are Nigerians. Her mother is a Nigerian and her father is also Nigerian. Our beautiful and famous Miss Universe Africa and Oceania, Chidima Adechina Vanessa, has decided to set the record straight. She has sent shock waves all over social media and have so many people confused out there because she has just confirmed in this interview taken a couple of hours ago, she has just confirmed that both her parents, her mother and her father, are Nigerians and that she had her citizenship through birth.
But the principle right now that we're applying is that you get your citizenship by blood, which means one of your parents must have been a South African citizen.
My mother was Zulu, as has been claimed. That would have automatically made Adechina's mother, born in South Africa, South African by birth. There would therefore have been no need to commit fraud by stealing another South African woman's identity.
Yes, guys, you heard me right. Her mom and her father are Nigerians, and she acquired her South African citizenship through birth, meaning she was born in South Africa.
Remember that settlers before, when they came in to colonize other countries, they actually had preferred citizenship by soil, which means by land, because they actually would not have wanted their children of people that they had sent to colonize other countries to then lay claim to citizenship of those parents.
Going to increase the economic gap that we already have that existing in South Africa. So what I'm saying to you guys is, when you'll do these things, you are not benefiting us in any way. You are actually contributing to the black poverty that is happening in South Africa. The Europeans come to South Africa and inflation increases. Then you come to South Africa undocumented, uneducated, no sort of skills. So you come here to contribute to the poverty, only increasing the economic gap. We cannot help people that do not want to help us. Constantly fighting to try and equalize the economy, and you guys are coming to drag it down. The Europeans are coming to inflate it. At this point, all of y'all need to stay out of South Africa. We need to sort out ourselves before we can help other people, because it makes no sense. Then you have the audacity to tell South Africans, no, focus on your political and economic issues. You're contributing to it. You're not helping it in any way. And that's why I say some immigrants come to South Africa not to empower South Africans, but then they use the black card to try and invalidate what people are saying. When people are saying, guys, please come here legally, have your documents, come contribute to the economy, it's all you xenophobic. It's not xenophobia. It's simply asking you to contribute. You can't come to, even in African culture, you can't come visit without bringing something. And it's just that simple. What is so difficult to understand? South Africans don't have a problem with documented people from outside at all. They're working good jobs, they're paying their tax, they're doing everything. So what is the problem? Because all South Africans are documented. If you do something, you can get arrested. If you, that doesn't have a paper, kill someone now, how are we going to find you? How are we going to put you in jail? How are you going to get punished for the wrong things you do? You don't understand. This is deeper than you think. And this is why I'm saying you guys are manipulative. Because the minute we call you all out, it's xenophobia. It's not. A bit of accountability from your side is needed.
Grandmother was Zulu, as has been claimed. That would have automatically made Adechina's mother, born in South Africa, South African by birth. There would therefore have been no need to commit fraud by stealing another South African woman's identity.
How are you a South African?
I was born in South Africa. Yes.
Well, to Nigerian parents?
Yes.
This is because here she is being a first-class Nigerian, not a photocopy of South Africans. That's the real lesson.
Grandmother was Zulu, as has been claimed. that would have automatically made Adetshina's mother, born in South Africa, South African by birth. There would therefore have been no need to commit fraud by stealing another South African woman's identity